Hi guys, happy Saturday. Sorry I'm 5 minutes late. Um, I've overrun with a client. I like to deliver personal service and give as much as I can when they need it. So apologies for that. So today I'm gonna talk about person-centered integrative NLP and hypnotherapy. I'm gonna tell you how it changed my life in so many different ways, how it really saved it, and what it can do for you as well, how perhaps I can help you based on my experience and skills that I've gained through receiving and studying NLP hypnotherapy. I have mentioned in the past in my different, my previous calls, some of my experiences with NLP, but I suppose I will just collate that information to make it clear exactly how good it is and how amazing it is. So let's start with that. So before I met Peggy, my therapist and later teacher, my view of NLP was it's all about sales, it's about manipulation, it's about making people do things that we want them to do, kind of like Darren Brown shit, my view of it wasn't very positive, and I was kind of really staying away from it. But when I met Peggy, and just basically by trusting her, and also my interest in hypnotherapy, because I was always curious if I can be hypnotized, like when you see people on stage acting like chickens and stuff, I always thought, well, that wouldn't happen to me. And I was correct, that would have not happened to me. There's very few people that hypnosis can affect in such ways. And I promise you most of you are not them. But that's what's wonderful. Hypnotherapy is not stage hypnosis. It's something completely different, using similar techniques, but obviously for different purpose. So the fact that NLP was combined with the hypnotherapy when it was introduced to me, the curiosity about hypnotherapy helped me to overcome the dislike of NLP and decide to give it a shot. When I started the therapy with Peggy, I was deeply depressed, basically most of my life, since I remember, since childhood, with periods of feeling suicidal. When I was younger, I had eating disorder, binging, namely, binge eating. I had very low self-esteem, which often resulted in actions of arrogance, I suppose, and patronizing, and as well as, again, slipping into depression, feeling not good enough, not worthy enough. I'm sure you know that feeling. And yeah, I was just a bit, I suppose, stuck in old habits, old patterns that just were not helpful. Procrastination and bad eating habits that were causing, physiological illnesses, like IBS and all sorts. It was just, I was not in a good place. Although on the outside you wouldn't be able to tell, I know from speaking to my friends later that they always thought of me as strong, healthy, with good habits, with good diet, exercising and all that stuff. No one really knew what was going on inside because I didn't tell anyone. I made sure that no one knew. So isolation was another thing. I felt quite isolated and kind of like no one will ever understand me. I'm the only one who's experiencing these issues or whatever the way I am, and there's no one who could relate to me. That's what was going through me, also my understanding of therapy was kind of from the movies and stuff, and I always felt that that's not for me. And also I studied a bit of psychology in the past, and I left it because I just didn't agree with the way it was done. I didn't like the fact that people were put in the boxes and had to fit certain criteria, and it just didn't sit well with me. So with that as well, I felt a bit not sure. But as Peggy has built my trust, I went for it. And oh my God, there was so much resistance. She could tell you stories. I was so making it difficult for her, really, in every way I could, and not on purpose. I didn't set out to make it difficult, but my ego was getting in the way so much. I was challenging everything she was saying. I often ended up saying, well, this is how I am, and it's not going to change. I can tell you it has changed a lot. All these, this is how I am, are no longer correct, and I'm no longer like that. So it's interesting how we think that things are the way they are, that they have to stay that way. Sometimes they do, but very often they don't. And it's entirely up to us who we create ourselves to be. And with Peggy's help and some other therapists as well, I've mentioned all the different therapies I've been doing over the last few months to you, so you can always go back and revisit every single one to see exactly how each of them were helpful. But with the combination of all these, it really helped me to open up. Of course, then when my husband died, my depression has got worse, and I was suicidal again. So that was really hard time. But I really feel and believe that I got through it unscathed because I was already in care of Peggy, and she supported me and guided me through it, and helped me to find myself again. Or find myself, full stop. I don't know if again comes into it. But basically, from the point of feeling suicidal, being absolutely at the bottom of things, to being absolutely depression free, it took just a year. Like on the scheme of things, when you kind of look at most people's stories, being depressive, and from the time they start treatment, they don't tend to even end it. They either end up on medication forever and ever, or for 20 years in therapy, and things get a little better and they get a little worse, but nothing really changes. But for me, the change was absolutely dramatic. It was just a year later I looked back and realized I haven't been depressed for ages. I feel, even when I feel a bit down or have a bit like anxiety or upsetting feelings or whatever, it's not the same as being depressed. I was okay. I could cope with it. I had gained skills and tools through the therapy how to cope with things. So it made me stronger in that way. I learned how to be vulnerable, and that it's okay to be so, and that there are times when, and with certain people, with certain situations, that vulnerability is perfectly okay and it's safe, and actually it's freeing. So that, there was another benefit, that it's really opened me up, and that openness allowed me to really deepen my friendships and relationships, improve relationship within my family. It got me to start writing a book that I'm hoping to finish this year. That's very personal, and it's about my personal journey and thoughts and feelings. Doing this, talking to you lot, like on camera, live, being saved on Facebook forever. That's certainly been a challenge, but it was much easier than it would have been a couple of years back. I feel so much more comfortable with me. With all my imperfections, with all my faults. I'm okay. I'm human. There are things that I say or do that are not always the best, but I'll learn from it and I move on. I forgive myself and I forgive others for their mistakes. Everyone's always doing the best they can with what they've got at any particular moment, and that's what I am doing too. And having understood that because of Peggy, because of NLP hypnotherapy, because that was my problem, that's what she opened my eyes to, that she changed my perspective. That allowed me to see that I'm okay just the way I am, and it's all right, and I can accept myself and love myself, and I don't feel like it's a lie or that it's phony or cheesy or whatever. It's just that. It's a fact. It's a truth, and that allowed me to love others more and accept them more, and be less judgmental of people. I'm still human, so judgments still come into it. But now I'm more able not to act on them, not to speak out of the judgment, to really keep it in my head and change it in my head before words come out of my mouth, or before I act a certain way. I question myself more in a good way, question my habits and patterns, and when they don't resonate with who I am, who I feel like I am, I change them. And thanks to NLP hypnotherapy, I have the tools. I still, receive therapy. I still need other people sometimes to facilitate these changes, because when we do it on our own, it's not always that easy. Our ego gets involved, and our minds are very good at convincing us and justifying things to ourselves, and I'm very good at that. So sometimes we need a bit of guidance. Sometimes we need someone to make sure that we don't get lost in our own mind, and then we find a way to where we want to get to. So that's why NLP hypnotherapy again has really, really helped. It has guided me through my own development, through my own growth, through dealing with my darkest demons. Really facing up to them and accepting them, acknowledging them, loving them in the end. Just accepting that everything about me, of who I am, every single darkest, dirtiest corner of the closet, that everything's okay, and that would not have happened without therapy. I just can't see a way how I would arrive at that by myself. So yeah, it's overall also it helped me to change patterns of behavior that I wasn't that happy with. So like binge eating, for example, haven't been doing that for a while. I am a bit hesitant to say that it's never gonna happen again. It's a bit like alcoholism, I think, or addiction. Once you're an addict, you're always an addict. Even if you teetotal for the rest of your life, there is still that kind of thing in the background that anytime, it can come back. And it's constantly making decisions or not engaging in it. And it's not always easy. I still get those cravings for food, not necessarily just sweets, mostly sweets, but not necessarily just that, just for food in a way that I crave to use it as a comfort, So whenever I feel I'm out of my comfort zone, or there's a situation happening in my life that I feel uncomfortable with, that makes me feel a little bit anxious, a little bit worried, I get cravings. I get cravings for food, and nowadays I'm much better at picking up on it and realizing, okay, what is it that I'm uncomfortable with? What is it that makes me feel uncomfortable, that my mind's trying to escape it by stuffing my face with food? So because I have that awareness, I have much more choice. So I can choose not to get engaged in that. It's not a compulsive behavior anymore. And again, that has changed with NLP hypnotherapy. It was probably the thing that helped the most, because we really looked at the patterns, the thinking patterns in my mind. We looked at the parts of me that use that as a protective mechanism, because that's why the mind's doing it. It's to protect you, it's to protect me, it's to protect me from those uncomfortable feelings. Our mind wants to be comfortable at all times. So whenever something's challenging us, whether it's in a good way or bad way, the mind's trying to stop it. And I've learned how to recognize, I've learned how to communicate with those parts, how to settle them. It's a little bit like being schizophrenic, but in a positive way. You do have those parts within you that have conflicts that, like we often even say it, in our language we say, oh, there's part of me that really wants this and there's part of me that really doesn't. It's as simple as that. Well, which parts? Let's talk to these parts. Let's see if we can get them to agree, because they very likely want actually the same thing for you, just trying to achieve it in different ways. And what we do in NLP hypnotherapy, we kind of personify those parts, so we can kind of bring them outside of ourselves and communicate with them. So it's still like just basically talking to yourself, but it brings clarity, because you can look at it from the outside. So you kind of take your personal involvement out of it, which makes it easier to understand, to see clearly, to deal with it without getting overwhelmed with emotions. So all these practices, these processes I find very, very helpful. Also when it comes to dealing with past traumas, and goodness me, I've had plenty. From my childhood and throughout life, you accumulate small and big ones. And sometimes they get stuck and they affect our present thinking, our present emotions, our present behaviors. That tends to be shown in overreacting. When a small situation creates massive explosion of anger, or you cry for no particular reason, or you feel overly anxious about something that actually on the objective side doesn't really seem to warrant that kind of worry. So it's kind of when we feel overloaded with emotions for no particular reason, like what's happening in now doesn't really explain the kind of high rise of that emotion that arrives. That's often because the present moment is triggering traumas from the past without us even being aware. And NLP hypnotherapy is fantastic at healing those traumas. It's not like it's deleting memories, it's taking the emotions out of them, those emotions that are not helpful anymore, that are dragging us down. So, I'm sure when you think of memories from your past, good ones or bad ones, some of them you just feel neutral about. You're just like, oh yeah, this has happened in my life, and there is no particular emotion arising. It's just like a picture. Like, if it was someone else's, you'd feel the same about it. Like, it's nothing particularly kind of grievous about it. But sometimes a memory can really bring those emotions back. Like, you feel like you back there again. Like, whether it's pain, whether it's grief, whether it's sadness, it's anger, or perhaps even joy, or feeling of life, or being in love. All these feelings come flooding back. And of course, with the positive emotions, not a massive issue. It's nice, it's pleasant. But with what we consider negative emotions, those feelings that don't feel that well, we don't want those to keep coming back. And getting kind of re-triggered and re-traumatizing ourselves again and again and again, because then it affects our relationships, because then, either we keep having arguments, or we're unable to communicate, or we keep feeling hurt by things that were not meant to hurt us. We take everything personally. This kind of stuff, can really affect our relationships and destroy them, and it destroys us, because it keeps coming back to why is this happening to me? Why no one loves me? Why no one wants me? Why they behave like this towards me? Why they saying these things? Why they doing these things? And everything's so personal. It kind of comes back to kind of reinforcing any limiting beliefs you might have from your childhood of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not acceptable. We all carry those around, but they don't have to be paranormal. We can rewrite those. And again, NLP hypnotherapy is a perfect tool for that. And this is exactly what it's done for me. I'm in such a better place, and I feel so much more in alignment with what I want. I feel like I'm going the direction towards my dream, and it's all happening. I have more energy, I sleep better, I'm more productive, procrastinate less, I eat better, I exercise better, my weight, it's perfect basically. I'm very happy where I am with my body, and I don't have to do anything particular for it. It's just kind of the moment I let go of my emotional baggage, so to speak, the physical one left too. It's those two are absolutely connected. All those, when I became okay with being vulnerable, there was no need for the protective layers, so they disappeared. When I let go of my past traumas, there was no need for them to be stuck in my body, so they disappeared. And it demonstrated as my health's improving, like my digestion is basically perfect at the moment, my skin's improving, like I'm 36, believe it or not, no makeup, just a bit of eyelash. My skin's really good. It's actually better than it's ever been in my life. I have more energy, as I said. My breathing's better. So like my allergies, my asthma, all of that is basically non-existent now. I don't get headaches. My period's fantastic, with no pains, no PMS. My muscle kind of aches and pains and tensions and stuff, all that has improved massively. There's still a few little bits to be sorted, and I know what they're about and what they link to and how to deal with it, and I'm doing that. And it's process, so it's not like kind of magic wand. Sometimes you can get results really quickly with NLP hypnotherapy, like you do one process and you see massive changes in your life. But often it's long-term thing. I mean, with long-term, I'm not saying years and years, I'm saying months and months, or at least weeks and weeks for sure, depending on what the issue is, how deep it is, how willing you are to change, how willing you are to go deep and really dig within and open up and let shit out, basically. The more you resist it, the longer it takes, because the therapist then had to spend ages just to get through your resistance so you can actually face yourself and see yourself. So, it does take time, and it's okay. We have the whole life to grow and to change and to make it better. Little successes is better than none. And I find that's what I find amazing about NLP hypnotherapy, is that it brings results. Like you can see them, like, in reasonably short time. I mean, compared to like psychoanalysis, when you have people going to therapy for 20 years and no particular difference appears. Here you can actually get pretty quick solutions. As I said, you can see some changes within days, some within weeks, some within months. And as I say, it took only a year to be absolutely depression free, and that was 2 years ago. I'm still good. I had not one depressive episode since, and I really don't feel like it's gonna happen again. Like even with grief, I've learned how to deal with it, how to cope with that, so it doesn't bring me down the way it used to. There's no need for numbness anymore, because I'm not scared of my emotions anymore. I just feel them and they pass. And in the past I heard about this, but it was just words. Now it's an experience, and that's again down to NLP hypnotherapy. Now, where the person-centered integrative comes in. So the integrative is integrating different techniques, and different approaches. So of course that's integration of NLP and hypnotherapy, but there's also touches of CBT and TA, which is transaction analysis. There's touches of EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques, the tapping on opening up the energetic centers. So it just integrates different approaches, different ideas, different processes. And the person-centered, that means it's about the person in front of me. So as a practitioner, when I see a client, there is no structure, there is no one approach fits all, or some kind of rules to follow. It's like whatever you present to me on a day, we deal with it, with whatever is coming up, whatever is your specific situation, whatever is your specific problem, we'll find solutions for you. Because believe it or not, you have all the solution already, but sometimes we need little help to find them within us, and that's my role, to help you, to facilitate, to hold a space for you, so you have nice and safe environment for you to dig around and find who you are, what you need, and how to deliver those needs to yourself. And I just find that so amazing, because when I studied psychology, classical psychology in the past, it was putting people in boxes or following certain rules that really just didn't feel right. So the freedom that the person-centered integrative NLP hypnotherapy offers, and that's treatment that Peggy devised, so she's put it all together, that's her baby. She, there's no one else out there who does it or teaches it. She really has put this together in such an amazing way that it's just so smooth, and it's just having more tools in your toolbox to deal with whatever you're presented with. So you can tailor every session, every package of sessions to your particular needs. It's amazing. Very empowering as well, because it's not about me fixing you, it's about me being there for you while you're fixing yourself. This is about you finding your way to you, getting to know yourself, accepting yourself, every part of you, learning to love it as well, and then that translates into your life, and so many different changes. My career has completely changed. It has taken off. I found more, I suppose, bravery, that, adventure. I feel okay with being out of my comfort zone. I feel okay with trying new things and pushing for bigger and better, and just wanted to share more with the world. Like, I know how cheesy this sounds, but I really want to make this place a better, this world a better place, and I'll do whatever I feel inspired to do, and just working on it one step at a time, just working towards what I feel it's for the best and that it will help people. And so far it's been pretty cool, and I've helped quite a few people already, whether it's through massage or through NLP hypnotherapy. So I hope this all makes sense, that you kind of can see how many different benefits NLP hypnotherapy has and how it's helped me personally. Of course, everyone's different. I cannot 100% guarantee that, your life will get fixed and resolved or whatever, or that it will get better, because we all are on our own personal journey. Thank you for the like. We all have different ways of dealing with things, coping with things, different things will resonate with us. So, there's so many different therapies nowadays. It's so wonderful that you can really find your way, what's best for you. But, if you're curious about what NLP hypnotherapy can do for you specifically, for your specific issues, just arrange a call with me. We'll have a half an hour on phone or Skype, so we can have a chat about what's going on for you and whether and how I can help you. And if I feel that I can't help you, I will recommend you to whoever I think could. But yeah, any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Curious about anything, just ask, Your life can change for the better no matter what the issues are currently, whether it's physiological, mental, it's just pure exhaustion, do you just feel down all the time, whether you have patterns and habits that you want to change, but you seem to really struggle with. So for example, I don't know, you really want to exercise regularly, but you'd start and after a couple of weeks you give up for no particular reason, and then you wake up one day and realize you haven't exercised for 2 months, or with eating habits or smoking, or whatever it is. The likelihood is it's issue in your either limiting beliefs, your kind of established patterns of behavior, some past traumas, and all of that can be helped, all of that can be changed. So if there is anything in your life you want to change and you're curious about whether NLP Hypnotherapy can help you, just drop me an email or text and we arrange a call. We'll have a chat and see if this is for you. All right, so I hope this was helpful in that it explained a bit more what you can expect from NLP Hypnotherapy. If you have any questions, just ask, please. I will get to you personally, I promise, and I'll answer any questions you might have. So this is it for today. It's been half an hour, so I think that's plenty of time for me talking. I will be back next week, and I will share my view on weight loss and what's the secret of it, or I would say there is no secret, it's just common sense, and I can spell out for you exactly how it works. So if you're curious about weight loss, sustainable weight loss, we'll have a chat next Saturday, so I will inform you again about the time of the call. It's probably going to be about lunchtime on a Saturday, but the times will come up the day before, so you can reserve some space for it. So I will see you next Saturday. This has been Christina Mendez-Matejová from KMM Sanity Therapies. I'm based at High Risk Holistic Clinic. I'm a massage therapist and NLP hypnotherapist, and I help people to get their lives together, basically. Get their shit together, as I say, as I have done in mine. And I also teach massage. I have membership as well for people who need a little bit extra help in between their treatments. So you get basically personal access to me via email, where, whatever questions come up, I will get back to you within a few days. There are also access to membership zone on my website, also discounts for my services for members. So for more information about the membership, just text me, call me, or have a look at my website. As I said, I also teach courses, and I forgot to say, I am organizing with my friend a charity event, a careers night in Jackson's Lane here in Highgate on a Monday the 4th. It starts at 7 p.m. There's going to be some amazing prizes, including vouchers for treatments at the clinic, for massage, for acupuncture, reflexology, worth £60+ pounds. We have donations from the local businesses as well, like little kind of presents, vouchers for amazing lunch at the local food room, which is really beautiful cafe with gorgeous food. We have rosé wine with some lovely luxury fudge from the local delicatessen. So there's really lovely prices for the quiz winners as well as for the raffle winners. And all of the proceeds after expenses will go to an amazing charity called Refuge, who provides services like housing and advice and whatever needs need to be covered for victims of violence, especially domestic violence. And that's for women, children, and now men as well. So they provide really, really good service. They don't spend money on advertising, so that's why not many people know about them. But they really invest into the services and provide the best they can. Fantastic, fantastic charity. So if you'd like to help this charity, and if you'd like to have a really good night with fantastic fun, because we have an amazing comedian actually hosting the quiz. Stretch your brain a little bit, have some lovely food, and there'll be drinks available as well, and coffee and tea. You just want to socialize and have opportunity to win wonderful prizes. Come along. All you need to do is book your tickets on Eventbrite. It's called Charity Quiz Event for Refuge. I will post the link in the comments or on my page, so you can have a direct link, and it'll be lovely to see you there. So that's really it from me today. Have a lovely Saturday, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.